Labor prides itself, Cameron, on its superior spin, and let's declare, that you are a former spin merchant yourself. That's one of Labor's skills. Brilliant.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged.
But recently, I got to say, Cameron, since you left, it too often has sounded to me like lies. For instance, Treasurer Chalmers has sent voters a text. It's Jim Chalmers here. Andrew Bragg, the opposition's housing spokesman is referring to, wants to scrap your super, and Pauline Hanson's backing him, which had Hanson shooting back. It's Pauline Hanson here. Jim Chalmers is full of shit. One Nation doesn't support scrapping super. We just think people should be able to use their super when in financial distress instead of losing their home. Now, Hanson shouldn't have used that language. Cameron, you know me, butter wouldn't melt in my mouth, but doing so, I think, means she's probably walked away with a win here against Chalmers that she wouldn't have if she just called him a liar.
Well, and I think One Nation's on a winner on the superannuation stuff as it happens as well. I mean, I think people don't feel any emotional connection to the superannuation, and they're living through a huge cost of living crisis. Young people can't find a home, but they get their super locked away for 45, 50 years. I mean, so no, I think One Nation are onto a winner here in terms of that side of things. And the problem for superannuation is if it's a Jim Chalmers text message, which is your only defence, then you're in real trouble.
What do you think, Michael? Do you think that superannuation debate, the Labor's really gunning for it, is actually a winner for them?
Oh, look, I mean, I doubt that Jim Chalmers even knew that text message went out. I reckon that's gone from head office. But it shows you what these clowns think are the sort of hot-button issues. Look, the bottom line with super is remember who started this, and it was Labor by claiming that super wasn't a personal asset, it was a national asset. Now, I'd be horrified if I was in an industry fund. They're already mismanaged, as we know, because of the governance structure, and these people now think that it's their money, not your money. So I think One Nation's got real legs on this one. And remember, we've had some failures in this industry just recently where people have lost enormous amounts of money. So, I think she's on a winner with this.
Well, speaking of liar, Pauline Hanson seems to have got in the head of Workplace Minister Amanda Rishworth today with a Fire the Liar campaign against the Prime Minister because listen to Rishworth.
Of course, this government closed the Labor liar loophole, which meant that there's many people doing the same job. Okay, I'll do it again.
Order.
The Labor hire loophole. The Labor hire loophole with our same job. You know where I'm going.
There's no coming back from that, Cameron, is there? Unless Rishworth really was announcing Albanese had been sacked and the Labor liar loophole had been closed. Have you heard worse verbal slips in your time?
Oh, look, there have been many verbal slips in Parliament, but this is a pretty bad one. I mean, I like Amanda a lot, but clearly Pauline's living rent-free in her head.
It's true. Michael Costa, Cameron Miller, thank you very much to you both.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers fired off an automated text claiming opposition Housing Minister Andrew Bragg wanted to scrap your pension savings and that Pauline Hanson backed him up. One tiny problem. Hanson said that never happened. She clarified One Nation simply wants superannuation accessible during genuine hardship, like stopping someone losing their home. She called the claim nonsense. And just like that, a text message became the story of the week.
Speaking of stories, let us talk strategy, because this is where things get spicy. Political commentator Cameron Milner did not hold back. He said if your entire defence is a text message from Jim Chalmers, you are in serious trouble. And he has a point. Labor has traditionally been sharp with messaging, but this time it landed with the grace of a thong on a tiled floor.
Here is the deeper issue, and this is where we shift gears. Australians are living through a genuine cost of living crunch. Young people cannot get into housing, wages are not keeping pace, and yet superannuation sits locked away for decades. So when politicians talk about super as a national asset rather than your money, people switch off faster than a phone on aeroplane mode. It feels abstract, it feels distant, and distant does not win elections.
This is exactly the gap One Nation has been walking straight through.
While Labor talks in careful, technocratic language, One Nation speaks in kitchen table terms: rent, mortgages, groceries, survival. It is simple, it is emotional, and it sticks, regardless of whether every detail holds up under scrutiny. And just when you thought the drama was over, enter round two. Minister Amanda Rishworth stumbled through a live interview trying to explain a hiring loophole and instead delivered a phrase that sounded suspiciously like she was announcing the Prime Minister had been fired. Social media, naturally, had an absolute field day.
So here is the real takeaway. This is not simply a fight over superannuation policy. It is a fight over language itself. Whoever tells the clearest, most relatable story wins the room, regardless of whether they win the argument. That should worry every Australian, because when political trust is built on vibes rather than evidence, our financial future becomes a narrative contest instead of a policy debate. Thank you very much for watching.